Hey guys, in this video we're going to do a quick tutorial on how to dimension the spline for the front of the Automoblox Mini. I'm not going to put all the other dimensions on there because it would make the video take forever, but I want to talk specifically about the spline and how we would like that view placed on there. Before the spline, I'll just talk a little bit about we see that these two holes in the back are hidden in every view that we have. So an alternative that we can do for that is to take up here with a projected view from the top, and we can put that on there, and now it enables us to dimension those from a view in which they are not hidden and where they appear as a circle. So that's just a first hint for this one. Okay. As far as the spline goes, this is going to be kind of a detailed process, so you're probably going to want to follow along and pause as you're going. So the first thing that we want to do is to create a detailed view of the front that is actually going to be the whole front. So we're just going to take this whole view, blow it up, put it on a second page. So I'll start off by doing a detail view. For this one, I am going to choose the squared fence shape. I'm going to click in the middle of it, and I'm just going to capture this whole view. Okay, so I'll click right like that. Okay, and I'm actually going to change the scale to 3, but we can do that later. Okay, so now I've got this giant view, and it's not really fitting well on this page. Okay, so I want to move it to a new page. So what I can do is in my model browser at the very top where it says M9 Mini Front, I'll right click and do New Sheet. Okay,
I'll fill out all my info. And then
we'll hit OK. This is going to create a new sheet for me. Okay. So to go between sheets, I just double click on the little picture between the two. All right. So I want to move this view, this detail view, to the second sheet. Which, of note, if you make a detail view for the slot right here, I would also move that to the second sheet just to keep things clear on here. Okay. So in order to move it to the second sheet, what I'm going to do is drop down my sheet. I'm going to find the view that my detail view is made from. So I'm going to have to do a couple of drop downs. Number one is the front view is the basis for my right view. So I'm going to drop that down. Okay, then I'm going to find the right view, which I have right here. That is the view that I created the detail from. So I will drop that down. Now when I highlight, I see that detail view highlighted in the drawing area over here. So I'm going to grab this front view right here. I'm going to drag it until I get a little black bar there, and boom, that brings it to the second sheet. So before I start dimensioning, like I said before, I want to change it to 3:1 scale to get it even more blown up. Okay. Now comes kind of the next tricky part, is creating these spline dimensions. So what I'm going to do is up here, I'm going to go to Sketch. I'm going to start a new sketch, and then I will highlight this box. That is where I'm going to make my sketch. I'm going to add a series of points. First, I want to zoom, and I'm going to highlight the spline right here. So if you see it, I'll click once in order to highlight it. Then I'm going to go to point. Okay, I will, well, it did not say highlighted, but regardless, I'm going to find the end of that spline and place a point there. So I'll put a point right there, and now it'll highlight this spline for me. I probably could have done project geometry. Then I'll get the other endpoint of the spline. Then what I'm going to choose is the next significant or the last significant point of the spline, and that's going to be where it dips in the most. So that is more than likely when the spline tool was used, where it was clicked to create this spline. So click here, and then here, and here. So I'll place this point right in there. Okay. So the next thing I can do then is I want to add dimensions for these 3 points. So I need both horizontal and vertical dimensions. So I'll go to my dimension tool. I'm going to go from this bottom edge, and I'll add my vertical ones. I'll hit accept every time it tells me it's a driven dimension. So from here, then to the second point, and then finally from here to the top point. And then I'll do the same for my horizontal dimension. So I'll go from here to, this is the closest one, so that'll come up here. Then from here to this one will be right here. And last, I will go from here to here for the last one. So those get me the dimensions that I need for my spline. But you'll notice as soon as I click finish sketch, they disappear. So the last step, or last couple steps I need to get them to show back up is on the sketch over here in the model browser. I'll right click, I'm going to do retrieve dimensions. Okay. It's got the view selected, so I'm going to go to select dimensions. Okay, and then I see every dimension for this thing pop up. I only want the ones that I just made. So I'm going to select this, 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 and then the ones that are connected to the points that I just did as well here. Should be this one, and right here. So those 6 are going to be highlighted. I'm going to hit apply. And now I've got those dimensions showing up in my view. The last thing in order to get them to be kind of looking like all of my other ones, and I actually would like these to be down to 3 places. So for each one, I'm going to double click on the dimension. I'm going to change the method of how it appears to default. And then I'm going to change the primary unit to 3 decimal places. So I'm just going to go through and do that for each one. Whoops. After I have done that, which is many steps, I will have a fully dimensioned spline so that another user could come along and recreate this part using my dimensions. All right. Very last thing, I would place a little notation down at the bottom, maybe using a text box saying note, see sheet 2 for detail views, so that if someone's coming back and looking at these drawings, they would know where to look for that second, for that detail view here, and for the one that I would eventually place on here. All right, so that's how you do splines. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.